What's up, everybody? It's the Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as being spam and joining us on Facebook at the Hardy Construction under the Facebook name. With your host, Comban.
Chicken soup for my pole.
And today's film is...
HELLGATE, 1989.
HELLGATE, 1989. F you, Danny. Anyway, so
Yes.
According to IMDb... This is already incredibly wrong because I read this earlier. A motorcycle gang kidnaps a young woman, Josie, from a diner and brutally kills her. Many years later, the girl's father finds a magic crystal that can bring life back to dead objects. He uses it to reanimate his daughter. He lets her seduce any young man that comes to visit the small town and then kills them. 4 young students, 2 boys and 2 girls, spend the vacation near the town, Hellgate. They hear about the story and get involved, which is semi-right, semi-wrong. Who cares? This movie is fucking awful. Oh boy!
It really,
why did you
was.
Do this?
You know, I just saw the cover. The cover looks cool. Like I've just seen this picture.
Was it just because we saw a couple of good movies in a row that you were like, you know?
I mean, that was part of it. Like
bad.
when I found out it was supposed to be bad, I wanted to break up the monotony of enjoying ourselves. So
you wanted us to have a cruel fate of watching something fucking incredibly awful. This is a bad movie.
And you know what's funny is I knew I kind of recognized the guy, but yeah, that guy's from Welcome Back, Kotter, the main guy.
Horshack from Welcome Back, Kotter, Ron Palillo. I don't think I've ever seen one episode of Welcome Back, Kotter. I think that's the one that started really what's his name's career, right? John, what's his name? John
Travolta.
John Travolta, like, hey, Mr. Kotter, you know that guy.
Yeah.
The best is in South Park when they parodied him trying to get Tom Cruise out of a closet.
Oh yeah, I actually really love the R. Kelly parts of that. The R. Kelly parts are amazing, and then I've heard that song, that like whole album, that's the same exact beat with him just going on, and then there's this Weird Al parody of the song that's amazing. He's talking about like going to the drive-thru and shit.
The John Travolta voice was so horrible that they did it. I love that they don't care. He's like, you gotta get out of that closet, oh my god! Because that's basically what he did in Welcome Back, Kotter. So Ron Palillo was a very nebbishy, I can't say the word, but maybe you can. What's the word for that type of... There you go. With a Y after it, right?
Jewy. Jewy.
Character.
Yes.
Very racist, but
I'm insulted here.
He's Jewish. I think he's Italian, actually. I'm not sure.
Well, he comes off... Name, right? He reminds me, actually, of the guy from Mad About You, who's in Aliens.
Paul Schrader. Why was I going to say Paul Schrader?
Reiser.
Paul Reiser. No, he's not... I'm talking about when he was in Welcome Back, Kotter. But yeah, he basically is playing the same way. He's just a little bit even more nebbishy in the Welcome Back, Kotter. And also... If anybody remembers, like in the mid '90s, he was like he was in a celebrity boxing match. I remember this for some reason because
was he good?
It was disturbing what happened. If you YouTube it, I'm sure you can see Ron Palillo. He's fighting Screech, and everybody knows nowadays like Screech from Saved by the Bell. The guy.
Oh, that guy's crazy. That guy's crazy.
He's like a scumbag. He's like a real scumbag.
Yeah.
And they got it was like supposed to be like some kind of fun celebrity boxing match, and Screech beat the shit out of Ron Palillo, like bloodied his nose. And the look on Ron Palillo's face after, it looked like his dreams were crushed for some reason. Like he just beat the fuck out of him, and it's you're watching this thinking
that
like,
guy. Yeah, no, I watched I watched a few episodes of Celebrity Weight Loss or maybe Celebrity Rehab. I don't know, one of those trashy shows, and he was on it, and he is a fucking nut.
He's like really an antagonistic guy, right? Is that how he is?
Yeah, no, he's like a scum. Like he really is a scum.
Because I remember
we're really off topic. We should talk about Hellgate.
I like talking shit about Screech. He stabbed somebody. Anyway, but Ron Palillo, and also because he died a couple years ago, and he was gay. So watching this film, because I guess he was discovered by his life partner. So watching this movie now, it adds the effect where he has to be seduced by a woman. And since this movie's already full of like bad actors, and it's not saying that there's plenty of gay actors that are in the closet, and they seduce women really convincingly.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But everybody is such a bad actor; he can't hide it. So
but you know what? He's good in Welcome Back, Kotter. I don't understand what happened here, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably only one good actor in this film, and that was like the guy who actually discovers the jewel or the crystal.
Oh, the old man.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only good actor in this film because this movie is
I guess
horrible.
if you call that good. I would call that like my level of acting. I would call the other ones like I don't even know, like a crackhead's level of acting. It was terrible.
So anyway, this film starts out with Chuck, Pam, and I believe it was Bobby, right? Chuck, Pam, and Bobby.
I don't even know.
Yeah, Chuck. I mean, I can't even explain how bad this acting is in this movie. It's really bad.
Right away, in the very beginning, it shows the you know, the biker guy, and he's like, "What, are you getting tea, or you like a pussy?" And then like the other guy's like, "Stop." And it's like, oh, this is going to be a bad
It's like
movie.
people forgot when to cut the camera off on certain scenes. But here's the thing: the people introducing the storyline, the backstory, I guess. I think they're supposed to be college people, but they look like they're in their late 30s to early 40s, and they act like kids, like, you know, high school,
it's very
college
awkward.
kids. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, I guess they're UCLA. Yeah, they're from UCLA. I just remember that they say the other guy's from UCLA. So I guess they go to university. Well, I don't even know what the fuck UCLA is, a college, obviously in Los Angeles,
Colorado.
And
no, LA.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, we're stupid on this show. So, but I mean, they just look like this old group of people, and they're telling jokes. The girls look strange, and I don't mean that to be offensive. Even for the '80s, they look like they
got that
porno
'80s
films,
look
right?
for certain.
They look like they walked out of like Z-grade pornography films. All the
And they're
actors
like,
in this movie.
and like they're, oh god, like they're like, you're being gross, like that kind of shit. Like,
Oh, you hated that in the '80s, right?
if anyone ever like talked to me like that, I would have to resist the urge to like kill them or something.
Because Bobby has a very butch look. She has like the short haircut where you usually like, is she attractive? Is she not attractive? It's very strange, and it's just like her acting.
They're okay.
Unattractive.
It's just the acting is so terrible.
I will say the other girl has a nice ass. What's her face? The one with the really mop top Sigourney Weaver in a mutation accident look. So anyway, they're talking with Chuck, who's the worst actor in the whole movie. Although actually no, he is actually the worst actor. They start talking about the story about this horrible biker gang. Do you remember the name of the biker gang? I can't think of the name of the biker gang.
The Strangers, right?
Yeah. I think they were called the Strangers, but I forgot if it was like 2 words or just the Strangers. But anyway,
I think it might have been the Strangers, and that guy was the enforcer.
I think they were called the Nefarious Strangers, but I couldn't tell if the nefarious was an adjective, like explaining.
Do you think they would know the word nefarious?
I don't know. Maybe not. But anyway, they're a biker gang in the 1950s of like 40 to 50-year-old guys. And so, you know, I can believe that they're 40 to 50-year-old guys. That makes sense. Maybe, I guess it could be. Hell, we just had a problem. Did you hear about the news where that whole biker gang was like in a biker war recently? Look it up. There was like this giant biker war that just happened, and 9 guys got killed, and they arrested them. And then they were comparing images of the biker gangs are all like quietly getting arrested, and meanwhile, like a black guy will just like tie his sneakers and he gets beaten over the head with a nightstick.
What the fuck?
The cops, like the bikers, actually killed 9 people. But then, like a black guy who's just walking the wrong way gets his ass killed and shit like that. It's like,
welcome to America.
Welcome to America. But anyway, so they're talking about these bikers just driving around, they're causing chaos, they're giving people the finger, they pick up to this 1950s gas station where they kick everybody out, and they proceed
and
to
then
try
that poor girl, she's just trying to do her job and kidnapped, and now she's a ghost.
She's a girl. Listen, I don't know how old that girl is supposed to be. I assume, since this is in the 50s, I assume she's probably like 18 or 19, or maybe her dad is overprotective. There's a whole.
Her dad's amazing. I love her dad, actually.
I kept thinking that he was the original Gomez Addams from the Addams Family. You know that actor that was on.
Yeah, he has that look.
He has a similar look. But anyway, Josie Carlisle is like this, you know, teeny bop girl, which I don't understand. The biker gang basically kidnaps her. I like how the chef, complete with chef hat, threatens to shoot them all with his like sawed off shotgun, and then he doesn't care that they're pulling a young woman who's screaming for help, who knew
no
them.
one calls the cops, no one does anything. They're just I guess she's gone. Oh well.
She knows them, and she goes there all the time. They know her enough that, you know, to give her a penny candy all the time, a penny to buy candy, and the guy doesn't even shoot at the fucking bikers, the strangers, that's what they're called, right?
Right.
And there's 5 of them. There's the main guy who looks like some greasy like curly-haired, skinny Ron Jeremy. There's the big lunk-headed guy who's the enforcer. There's some fat guy.
I just like the old man that's like, stop! And like, then the other guy pulls out a knife.
He was in the original gang, The Strange. That was it, before they added a couple of guys in it. So anyway, this girl comes in. She's very, like, obviously 1950s looking, but she looks like she's 25 or something. She looks like she has Marfan syndrome.
Well, they didn't do meth back then, so maybe something else.
You know what Marfan syndrome is?
Is that the one like Jack in the Robin Williams movie?
No. Marfan syndrome, I believe, is when your body is like you become extremely tall and your limbs are extremely
like
long
the like
reason.
Lurch and the guy from Twin Peaks who's the same.
Right,
actor.
I guess she's obviously a model. Whoever they casted was a model because there's a part later on in the film where the father's looking at a photo of her and it looks like something out of a fucking magazine from the 1980s, like a beautiful pinup shot.
Yeah.
Abigail Walcott. I'm like, isn't your daughter supposed to be virginal? What is she taking this extremely gorgeous like photography?
What I don't understand is like
looking at it.
I just don't understand. I don't understand the movie.
But hold on. I also like the part where they were ripping her skirt off, and she's supposed to be like innocent and virginal, and they're ripping it off, and she's obviously wearing a bodysuit under it, like a sexy lingerie bodysuit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this movie? It's so badly made. I think I looked up this director's other movies because I think this is like the last movie he made. I think before they ran him out of Hollywood.
Yeah, right. He was like lynched.
I mean, what else? I think he did something called. I think he did a lot of like porn, sort of like 1970s kind of like almost pornography films. There was a movie called Wham Bam Thank You Spaceman. That please look up the trailer.
We gotta review that.
Look up the trailer. I don't know if we can. Look up the trailer on Vimeo, and it's just basically these two aliens that come down to Earth, and they have giant tongues that they fuck women with. It's incredible trailer.
That sounds like La Blue Girl or something.
It's incredibly sleazy. Anyway, so these bikers drive back to where she lives for some reason with her in tow. They're telling everybody to fuck up, and they're trying to rape her in public or something. I don't understand.
And the guy, I like the guy just reacts. He sees them going by, trying to like rape this girl, and he's like, "Creeps." That's it. Like,
yeah, they obviously
not like, "Oh shit, I gotta call the cops." Just creeps.
And what's weird is about this small town. Looks like these people just moved into an abandoned Western set from a Hollywood
like
studio.
Mad Max or something. Like
it does act because the whole town doesn't even have street lights. It's lit with Christmas lights. It
reminded me of like Book of Eli or something. God
damn, that was the ending of Book of Eli was the dumbest shit I remember ever seeing.
I like that movie.
No. It was fine that he remembered the whole Bible and everything, and spoiler alert, like he dies at the end. But then all of a sudden, Mila Kunis, who's 3 feet tall, is going to become a samurai warrior. Get the fuck out of here. Just get out of here. Anyway, so the bikers are chasing her down. The girl Josie's father, who is, I think, what is his name? Something Carlisle. Lucas Carlisle. He's
amazing.
Like, the acting of him, like, I think he's completely dubbed. I couldn't tell if anything about, but he looked like he was just dubbed throughout the whole
mustache
movie.
Alone, he's my favorite
and he's
character.
Like, get away from my daughter, and he throws an axe.
Strangers!
And at the same time, the head strangers guy throws a chain. I didn't know a chain getting wrapped around your hand like disables it for the rest of your life.
Right, it's and then he had like metal things on his head. What was that?
Well, no, we'll get to that because the turtle bit him on the face. But anyway,
right, but what does that have to do with metal? And also, it bit him in the cheek, not on the forehead.
The turtle had the powers of Tetsuo the Iron Man. That is a movie.
The turtle scene is my favorite scene of the whole movie.
But literally, he throws the axe. Axe hits the guy in the head. His motorcycle runs into the daughter through a wall. The father proceeds to throw. He's really good at throwing stuff. He throws a knife at the big dumb jock guy, who drives off, and the other motorcyclists, they just vanish. You never see those guys ever again, even though you see old footage.
Well, apparently they continued on to ostracize the one guy and make him think he's crazy. You never see
those guys again. I don't understand. So anyway, what's funny is that it goes back to the present, and Ron Palillo, who is like we said, Korshak, he's playing Matt. He's kind of how would you explain his character?
just like
He's just unbelievable in the movie. Like, there's nothing about him that's believable. Like, even
he's just like this annoying, strange Jew, and you have a naked girl on top of you, and he's like.
He's sitting in his jeans. I guess they told him that he wasn't acting yet because he couldn't give a shit less that there was a naked girl. She had really bad implants too, right? Her implants were like really tiny. I guess that must have been like the beginning of implants.
Yeah, implants are gross. No offense to anyone.
Oh, stop. There could be good I've never seen any, but there could be.
I'm sure there are, but the idea of it bothers me.
So anyway, this Matt guy is a complete sex machine, and as soon as he gets to the same 1950s diner nowadays, I guess this is modern times, 1989. Right. There's the cute little black girl that's the waitress, and she's just throwing herself. She's kind of a horny chick, that girl. She doesn't get enough, like, I don't know. She's like completely 80s. She's got the horrible makeup on.
And that guy is dating the sister of his friend Lucas, right? Or am I wrong?
Right. And meanwhile, the big dumb would-be rapist is now the town mechanic, I guess. And he's like... I like how they try to make him have a redemptive arc towards the end.
I love how every scene that has like an action shot is in slow motion. Like every one.
I was reading a review of this film and they said they had like unnecessary slow motion scenes.
If they had all those scenes in fast forward, like the movie would be 5 minutes shorter.
I wish they just cut out the rest of the movie and left the slow motion, and the movie would still at least be half an hour long because there's so many slow motion scenes for no apparent reason in this movie.
Yeah,
I gotta say one of the biggest laughs in this film is when it cuts to, I guess I couldn't tell if it was modern times or it was old still back then. I guess it was a couple years after his daughter dies, because they don't reference it. It just cuts back to the like gold mining, because I guess there's gold in that town of HELLGATE. Okay. And that old man goes in, and a bat attacks him, and he hits the bat with this not even a hard hit with a shovel, and it knocks the bat to the ground. But I mean, the effect of it is so awful.
What I just don't understand is like, well, there's a few things I don't understand. First of all, the daughter, she's dead for a while. How could she come back and her skin's all like not rotted and stuff?
I don't know, but yeah, I know the rest of the people, they're rotted when they come back, but her,
yeah,
no,
like
she's
Pet
fine.
Cemetery, like think of that.
Lucas looks like Lucas Carlisle, the father looks like Beefsteak Charlie or somebody of like. You remember that old arcade game? Like it was like an arcade game where you had to play a waiter who had to catch beer at the end of a bar table. I don't know if anybody's ever played that game, but he looks like a barbershop quartet guy. Like he has a weird mustache. He's just missing the hat, and his hand is all bandaged up from getting that chain wrapped around it. Because I guess can a chain do that to you? I don't think a chain could do that to him unless
he still acts. He's like in stuff. I'm on his IMDb.
Good for him. If anybody forgets this, but what is the first thing he does with that superior gem that he uses?
What does he do? He brings a goldfish. He mutates a goldfish.
Yeah, so apparently this movie does not explain what the gem is. It just happens to be in the center of the earth, and it has this laser beam that's able to destroy and create life. It's it's all with like 2D animation, and the people like the way they sell the trailer for this film. They're like, from the makers of Hellraiser, and I think if Clive Barker ever saw that commercial, he would sue the shit out of these guys because they do mean the film, but the special effects. But there's some, for the most part, the special effects in this movie are so bad, it's incredibly bad.
No, there's nothing redeemable about this movie.
They do that whole like they try to do, what's his name? The guy who did Lord of the Rings and all that stuff, Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Like he's like really famous for putting weird close-ups, like really like fisheye lens close-ups in movies. Mm-hmm. When like it'll show characters laughing. That happens a lot in this film, I guess, to make it seem terrifying. But it looks so like cheap.
Yeah, it's very bizarre, and they'll have like weird, inappropriate music, like in parts that make no sense.
Yeah, it's bad. Like the reason Lucas Carlisle gets bitten by this mutant turtle or whatever the fuck, and then later on he has like robot shit on his face. Like
for no reason, and it doesn't even go. It bit his cheek, and he has the robot shit on his like forehead.
And I guess the movie is trying to play off that old urban legend. You know how when you pick up a girl from a party and then you drop her off at home, or she disappears midway and then you show up at the home and then the mother says, "Oh, she's been dead for years." It's like that kind of urban legend, that story. And it was so funny because I heard that recently in this podcast, and so then to see it repeated in this movie was very strange. But anyway, the whole gist of the story is that Matt finds the young girl. Well, she's not young, which is like, who the hell knows? He finds Josie and he brings her back home. And this movie, literally, they should have just renamed it The Worst Boyfriend Ever, the movie. Because basically, he brings this girl back. He sort of wants... He almost has sex with her. The father scares him off. And then his whole goal now is to return to Hellgate and save this girl who I think he believes is in trouble. But she's
As
actually
his girlfriend's helping him.
Yeah, his girlfriend's helping him. She's a dumb fuck. I will say they did portray something I haven't seen in my life of film, which is my favorite position sexually. It's the prone bone, where you're just on top of the girl that way, which is good. But I guess they put it off.
What is it called? I'm gonna Google this.
Prone bone. That's when a girl lays on her stomach and then you're on top of her that way. It's like a lazy. They call it also the lazy doggy position. It's very good.
Oh, okay.
But prone bone. I don't know why that was named that. But then also the other amazing sex scene was with Bobby and Chuck.
They've never.
Which I don't even know if that was even a real sexual position, because she was just kind of laying flat on him and smoking cigarettes while she had sex with him. It was very strange. Because this movie's trying to push in a lot of nudity, a lot of sex. This is a movie that I guess you can watch in a group and laugh at it. But
this is a movie that took me 3 sessions to watch.
Oh yeah, me too. I saw it in half-hour intervals. I saw it.
Yeah, me too. Like I watched it a little bit. And I was like, okay, I gotta take a break. And I was like only like 10 minutes in or something. So then I like watched like a good 45-minute chunk, and then I finished it.
Luckily, it's on Netflix for you guys to watch.
I was trying to like distract myself. Like I was trying to like pay attention to other things.
How would you describe the big bad of the film, Lucas Carlyle?
That's the guy with the mustache, the dad?
Yeah, the bad guy.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's like the only part of the movie I like.
Yeah,
I hate all the witty humor where he's like, "You're an asshole." Like, oh god, it's so cheesy.
Oh yeah, that's a running joke in the movie.
It's so cheesy. Their inside jokes and their reactions to things and stuff, like it's so corny.
But it doesn't look like it's competently. I mean, obviously the whole movie is not competently done, but it's just the way that it's like badly edited, badly acted. I mean, some of the camera shots
like
are really cool.
I want to be like, okay, it's so bad it's good. You know, I want to do that, but it's not
just a bad movie. Yeah, it's just
it's
not. It's
not good enough. It's not bad enough to be like that level. Like I know it's not taking itself so seriously, but it's still just not enjoyable to watch.
I will also say it's the first time I've ever seen, because you remember usually in 1980s comedies, like if a guy gets a blowjob from a girl grabs his nuts, his eyes cross. And this is the first time where a guy goes down on a girl.
Yeah. That was
guy goes down on a girl
weird.
and her eyes cross. That was funny. I mean, there's obviously supposed to be funny stuff in this movie, but the movie's so horrendous that you don't know when to laugh or just be like, oh my god, what the fuck am I watching here?
I was like rolling my eyes at points. Like I
also like where Chuck leaves his keys in the car for some reason, the Jeep, and then they visit Hellgate. Like, what's going on here? Like, what the hell is going on? This stuff doesn't make any sense. Like the big lunk-headed ex-rapist 1950s like gas junkie guy,
mechanic guy.
He's about to kick his ass, and it's like they edited another scene with Ron Palillo saying, "No, let's not do it. Let's talk it over." And then all of a sudden, the whole mood shifts. So the last half
it's very strange. It's very, very.
The last
strange.
half an hour of the film was the 4 of them going into Hell's Gate for whatever reason, just going on the whim of this asshole Matt's, wanting to save this faceless girl. His girlfriend's an idiot for going with him. Chuck and his
and then the girl, girlfriend should have let the girl stab him.
Yeah, I mean it's so stupid. I mean, what the fuck? There's that whole. Why did this movie also have can dancing in it? It seems like in the 1980s.
I actually like that part.
I did like that because it seemed actually stylish. Because
that was like a cool artsy fartsy part for me.
Yeah, because the guy with the top hat comes out, and like that was shot really well because it kept cutting whenever he spoke.
That was probably like the director's like brother wanted to be in the movie.
He just came in. He's like, he's not gonna do anything. Let him just take care of this part. And he was like eating seafood or something like that.
Felt like I was watching Cabaret, but it was good.
Yeah, like that was actually a classy part of the film, and it's all slow motion while this one girl gets choked to death. I didn't know you can choke somebody with a rope and then they automatically
And
start
blood
bleeding out of
instantly
their
comes
mouth.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed, I forget what part it is, but I think they used a song that was in Natural Born Killers. Like, there was
they use
one...
a lot of what is that called? What was that music?
Copyrighted?
Yeah, non-copyrighted music.
There was this one point that was, I believe, in a scene where Mickey's driving in a car and Satan's kind of like dancing alongside him, but I could be wrong. But I definitely recognize the song.
What do you think was the point of having the piano player guy play for no reason?
I don't think there was a point to that. I don't think there was a point to the ghost. It
let's
seems
say-
like they
let's
had
say
no idea.
The father seemed immortal, right? The father wasn't like super powered or anything like that.
No,
But
he was
able
mortal,
to
yeah.
take. Yeah, he wasn't like super powered, and he took a sign that was hanging off of a wall and decapitated a guy with it. Like
Right.
usually you would just like hit a guy in the neck and it hurts, but he literally cut the guy's head off. Like he cut the guy's head off and the guy's head flew in the air, like spinning.
Also, I
And-
love that you could see like all the shops, like in the last scenes when the cars are crashing and shit. Like you could see how flimsy the sets are. Like you see like it moving around. even
When
nothing's
when the
touching it.
first four of them come into town, there's this long dolly take where the camera's following them. They didn't even wait. The camera moves to the right, and you see the rest of the dolly track where the camera moves on it on the bottom right of the screen. I was looking at it, I was like, "What's that doing in the movie?"
I
guess
didn't
it
even
shouldn't
notice that. That's funny.
It shouldn't surprise me, but I looked at it, I was like, "Wait, that's where the rest of the camera should be moving on." I was like,
What
the
I
fuck
don't
is going on?"
understand is why would... I mean, I guess he's not a good actor, but Horshack or whatever, like, you know, I would think he's above something like this.
No, I mean,
He's-
listen. He was fighting Screech a couple years later. In the theater, in the movie business.
He
you
must
gotta
have had
take
some
what
kind
you
of
can, I
downward
guess.
spiral. Maybe like his husband or whatever was just like
There's
a
like
bad person.
I was thinking about that today. There's certain actors that
Nah, I
should
doubt it.
know that should not be leads in a movie. And if
Yeah.
you've given like Dan, if they came to you and they said, "Listen, we want you to be the lead in a movie," you'd take it, right? Because you got money, and then you'll act. You might be a little bit nervous, but still,
I'm a
offering
bad
you a
actor.
lead. Well, that's fine. That's what Ron Palillo is too. And they
Yeah.
offered him a role, and he's a lead in the movie. I was thinking about that with that kid.
Yeah, I
from,
mean, I guess but do you think a movie like this would have paid him? They're like, yeah, okay, we got
I'm
like
sure
$10.
they paid him. I'm sure he did. Listen, acting is acting, money is money. They got to pay bills. They're taking to get an acting job at anything is luck enough. I mean,
This
if you
page
get offered
doesn't even
anything-
have this movie doesn't even have a Wikipedia. That's like crazy. Like
I'm sure
everything
people.
has a Wikipedia.
I'm sure the people who survived in the movie are kept deleting it when somebody kept writing one.
Yeah,
I
right.
love that scene when all the zombies are coming out and they're like the really bad practical makeup effects. And there's one zombie who's hanging by the neck, and then for some reason the
Falls
trapdoor
slow
opens.
motion.
Yeah, the trapdoor opens and the zombie falls through the hole for some reason. Like it doesn't make any sense why, because there's no point that he just falls through the hole.
It's also like they're not supposed to be ghosts. They're supposed to be zombies, kind of. Not even.
I guess the guy had zapped all those graves and those people keep coming up. I don't know if anybody
Yeah,
lives
but they're
in
not ghosts. That's not a ghost. A ghost is a different thing.
The funny part is too when Matt or whoever first goes through Matt first comes through the town, and they just show old footage of the biker from the beginning of the movie driving around in a circle, and it's clearly shot at a different time. And then he's
Right.
like, "I saw that guy there, but none of the other bikers are there." Oh man! And then there's like for some reason they cut to like the deputies and the sheriff at the end talking to him. "Oh, we're not gonna go visit that town. There's nobody."
Yeah,
you
he
know."
hung up on me.
Oh my god! And one of the worst things I've ever seen is when the father Lucas, and the buildings are falling on him, and you could tell he was somewhere else completely different. They just caught his reaction in the same Peter Jackson style of like POV of like a thing falling on his head, but it clearly looks like really terrible. It's so.
You know, it'd be
bad.
cool if like he came back. They just cut to the Super Shredder scene in Ninja Turtles 2.
It's just a different movie, and they just draw they like plaster Matt's face digitally on the turtle's body, even though it's like a Ninja Turtle's body. I did love when the girlfriend shot the girl out the window, when she shot
Yeah.
Josie at the window. It was slow motion, and I guess that girl must have done her own stunts, because that was an 8-foot like model like stunt woman or something. It was the same exact girl. and it was like a sound effect of a woman screeching slow motion. I also like she gets stabbed in the shoulder, and Matt drives her off and decides to have a little talk. He doesn't drive her to the fucking hospital. She looks like she's lost like a ton of blood.
Yeah,
He's just
right.
having a little chat with her. It's like a
It's a very strange movie.
They steal
So-
a car and then he puts on shades and shit. And then did you even get that because he fixed the rear view mirror, that the laser that the old man shoots at it bounced off and shot back out and blew
Oh,
him
is
up?
that what happened? I didn't even catch that.
That's the only reason I understood, because it slowed on his hand moving the rear view mirror and zapping backwards, because the fucking laser went through windows and it didn't
Right. Well, you know what? A window isn't a mirror, though.
I know. So I mean, that's why
It's the
stopped it. It just went
reflecting
through.
power of the mirror that makes it bounce, not the
Why
not glass.
was it when Lucas was choking the girl, he didn't even tie the rope around her neck. He just kind of kept it in a straight line, and she still died. Like, it wasn't like this is bad.
Why was blood coming out of a rope?
This is a bad movie. I mean, it's incomprehensible how bad this movie is. Like, it's really terrible. I mean, it's on Netflix. But, I mean, like...
You don't understand how many times I've seen the cover for this, and I thought, oh, that looks cool.
There was a cool poster of, like, the girl standing in front of a
Guess
door.
how many stars it has on Netflix?
I hope negative stars.
No, it has 1.5 out of 5.
That's 1.5 too many. I mean, there's a part where one of the girlfriend opens up a fridge door, and there's a guy's head inside.
Oh, God,
and
and then she says, pull yourself together. Oh, God.
Yeah, and it's like the guy's voice is like completely dubbed for no reason. He goes, I don't want my body. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what's going on? And I know I saw the scene on YouTube, and then I watched it again, and I was like, this must be a fever dream. Wow, who would put this in the movie? Like, what the hell is the point of this? I mean, man, yo, Danny, what'd you do? You
I'm
were
sorry, but you
this.
know what? It broke up the minute because we watched It Follows last. We were due. We were due.
Listen, people, on Netflix, if you watch it with 8 people, then you can talk shit. Don't watch it by yourself. Don't do what we did.
Yeah,
This
just
is
don't
bad.
do it to yourself. You want to watch a bad movie that's like really campy and fun? Watch like Leprechaun in Space.
Yeah, that's good. This is a horrible, horrible movie. That's disgraceful, and I'm sorry I saw it, and I'm sorry I listened to Danny.
Can we rate it? Can we rate it?
I can't believe we did this over Rosemary's Baby.
We're
Anyway,
gonna do Rosemary's
I'm
Baby
gonna
eventually.
do this. I'll give this a 2 out of 50, 2 out of 25.
Okay.
2 out of 25. Trying to be a redemptive, somewhat rapist, jumping on top of the back of a car and going shaking a knife and a hammer in your hands, and then getting blasted with a laser.
Okay, I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 56.5. 3 out of 56.5. You're a somewhat normal person, and then an old man hands you a rock, and all of a sudden you're completely insane and laughing at a turtle that is a zombie and let it bite your cheek, and now you have metal in your forehead for some reason.
That turtle bit the shit out of him. Also, that rapist jumping on the back of that car with the weapons. I mean, I can't believe it. With that, Danny, what's the final word?
Oh, obsession.
The horror deconstruction.